Man, it is January, the first time we're back since Christmas break. Episode 101. You're going to be talking a little bit about your musical adventures over the break.
Yep.
I'm going to be starting a new series today, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But man, it's been a long time since we've been here.
It is.
Yeah, but episode 101.
All right. Not only my musical adventures, but other adventures too.
Okay.
Shot some shotguns. Rode in a fully automatic Tesla and saw how it works.
Okay.
It's automatic. I'll give you a hint. It's automatic. It does things on its own.
Fully automatic.
Fully automatic. Fully. What's it called? There's a certain term for it, but
I thought those were illegal.
no.
Without the tax stamps and all that stuff.
Push a button, take me to the range. It took us all the way an hour to the range. Not even touching. I think he touched the steering wheel once or twice whenever we made a maneuver that wasn't on it. We went into Walmart and we didn't ask it to take us into Walmart. So he took over the steering wheel, went into Walmart. After that, pushed the button, brought us out of Walmart, right back on there.
I saw this video the other day. It was of, I guess, a fully automatic Tesla or whatever. But it's going and like making a left turn, and you see the camera pan, and there's some police officers over off to the right, and there's a guy, laying down in the middle of the street with his hands behind his back, guns are drawn, all this stuff, and the Tesla just like minding its own business, just goes and makes a left turn, just drives right past the whole thing there. The thing was the I guess the guidance system doesn't know how to navigate around a police shootout or something.
Oh, well, I tell you, within the first mile, I was in the front seat, and the driver, my brother-in-law, put in the coordinates, and we were coming out of the neighborhood, and like always seems to happen, you don't see anybody for an hour, then all of a sudden you see a car coming towards you. You're going north, they're coming south, and somebody's walking on the road, and you all three meet at the same time. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what happened. So fully automatic mode, Tesla's coming out of the driveway on the road now. Another car's coming. A lady was pushing her baby carriage, walking a dog on the side of the road. Tesla slowed down, let this car come by, and then the Tesla gave room for the lady to continue to walk. It did everything automatically, just like a person should do.
Interesting.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that's just what it does.
I don't even do that.
You'd run over I don't know. Anyway, it's interesting. The driver, Mark says, this thing drives better than I do.
Yeah.
he said, I'm all seriousness, because he's one that texts and emails and does everything else. He has a little case of Meniere's too, so that's why he got the Tesla.
They've been one of the things that has come about because of all of the like AI and everything is like people's ability to be novel and creative and stuff. When they rely too heavily on AI, all that stuff starts to like degrade over time because that part of our brain is no longer constantly being exercised for creativity and things like that. And so students, they've noticed a huge decline in their ability to produce original work.
Right.
Because so I wonder, as more and more people begin to rely on like fully automatic Teslas and self-driving vehicles and stuff like that, if our ability to drive will degrade over time as well.
Well, anecdotally, very simply, we rented a van, and it had a dynamic cruise control. You know what I mean when I say dynamic cruise control? I'm calling it that because to me that's what it describes. You can 3 settings. You can set it to stay 100 feet back and it will slow down on its own, right?
Yep.
And to me, that takes a lot of the bandwidth away from me when I'm driving on the highway. I set it for whatever. Somebody gets in front of me, it slows down just a little bit.
Yep. I have that on my vehicle.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
I love that. I get out of that and get my Camaro, and I've got to say, okay, you don't have dynamic cruise control, because I use my cruise control all the time. Put it on speed. You don't have dynamic cruise control, so I have to, if I did that any length of time, I would imagine I'd get really, really used to it.
Yeah.
I'd become a worse driver because I'm not paying attention to it. So having a totally automatic, I would imagine that it would degrade your driving. But if we've driven for any length of time, I'm thinking that would come back really quickly.
And it might be too that the ability to drive is becoming less and less of a necessary skill.
Yeah.
The more we have other things to do it for us.
Yeah. In a big city like Atlanta, this is Alpharetta, actually, 45 minutes north of Atlanta, an hour north of Atlanta, something like that. You can't count the Teslas. You're at a stop sign, and because Don and I are talking about getting one, so I'm paying attention to the different body styles and everything. Whenever you start looking at, a white car, you see white cars everywhere.
Yeah.
And we're starting. We're at stoplights and everything. I'm looking around. Man, there's 20 Teslas in Alpharetta, more and more in Pensacola as we're looking, and they're all. I wonder how many are automatic. You know what I mean? And they're just they're they're getting around each other. I don't know. It's something to really think about and and consider. It's a reality. It really is.
Supposedly, so I haven't looked much into this yet, just because I haven't had an opportunity to. But the battery technology looks like it might be changing significantly pretty soon. There's an aluminum ion battery that's supposed to hold a better charge, be faster charge, be a lot cleaner to produce, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, good.
That might be changing the game of the electric vehicle market here pretty soon.
You got to know. I mean, you got to think that's bound to happen sooner or later. Probably sooner than later.
Yeah.
That car. There's certain years whenever we're looking at maybe getting a used one. There's certain years that you don't want to get. Just like a MacBook. If you get a certain year or behind, those aren't going to get updates anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like a Tesla. They're not going to, certain ones in behind and older aren't getting the updates anymore.
Right.
And if you go to a newer model, then that'll get the update, and it has new software, and it's got a new, it's just the better ones to get. They're future proof. And my understanding is the resale value on those aren't very good. Even the higher model, he said he got $40,000 off retail. If it's $40,000 off, how much the darn thing cost to freaking begin with, man?
Yeah.
My gosh! But his was only a couple years old and just like 6,000 miles on it, something like that. But anyway, but it was fun. It's a good riding car. Honestly, not a big deal. It's smooth. It looked really clean on the inside. Had carbon fiber trim, nice white leather. Everything is flat. There's only two knobs, and it was I can't remember what the knobs were, but it was only two knobs. Everything else is swipe and tap. Like, man, you got
that's what we're running into. Crap. We got a new car January 2nd.
Oh, you did?
And
that Buick outside?
No, it's the Lincoln.
Oh, the Lincoln. Okay.
And I'm keep reaching for a gear shift. It's up on the front. You have to press the buttons, and so I'm sitting here going, and then I want to put a key in, and this is the fob thing. It's like I'm sitting here trying to learn a whole new way of driving things, and it's like it has that type of cruise control on it,
that dynamic
and
control,
I'm sitting here going. So I'm setting all these settings up, and I got a phone connected to it. And somebody called me, and I'm listening to this alarm go off inside the car.
Is totally
wait a minute.
new for you.
Oh, that's my phone ringing.
Right.
Well, now that we're on this, I need to talk about a pet peeve of mine. Because, over this past Christmas when we flew up to New England and, got a rental car for the week, all this stuff, fobs have just gotten out of control.
How so?
Well, I liked back in quote unquote the day. My first truck, it didn't have a fob, didn't have anything like that. It was just a simple key.
Mm-hmm.
The key didn't have a chip in it, nothing like that. It was just a nice small key, all this stuff. And then I got a car with a little fob, and it was just it was a Toyota Corolla, the first vehicle I ever bought new, and I just remember, like, the key was bulky because it had a big plastic head on it with a chip in it. It had a fob, which at the time I thought the fob was huge. Come to find out, it's super small compared to today's standards. Just like a little 2-button fob, and then when I got my new vehicle that I'm driving now, a RAV4, larger fob, doesn't the key is like integral with it and all this stuff, but like, when I got this rental car over Christmas break, this little bitty tiny key that was just the stupidest looking thing ever, that was poorly made. It was in a little plastic case that was going to break, within the first 6 weeks of owning it probably. But the fob was just this huge plastic elliptical thing that, like, when it's in your pocket, just this huge lump in your pocket.
I see you're hitting the Toyota there.
Right. It was, I think it was a Palisade or something like that. But yeah.
Oh my gosh, look at that thing. Chris has got
I'm like, why do and it's mostly plastic, right? There's no reason that needs to be that big. And and it's like 5 pounds, right?
That's what you want to keep in your pocket right there.
Exactly. It's just this huge monstrosity. And just fobs have gotten to be so annoyingly huge.
Yeah.
And just like, unforgivably bulky.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like, I don't want to get a new vehicle anymore because.
What kind of fob comes with that, buddy?
Exactly, right?
Does it come with someone to carry my fob?
Right.
That's your pet peeve. That's one of your pet peeves.
That's my vehicle pet peeve.
Gotcha.
Not to be outdone with the whole trend of vehicles nowadays to turn the engine off as soon as you stop at a red light.
Yeah.
This one has that.
Yep.
And I have a disable button. I cannot disable that, and I can press it, but I can't just permanently turn it off. I'm sitting there going, my car died. Oh.
You can, because
right.
I have that kill switch too. But I can buy an aftermarket thing that you take the switch off and plug it into the back of it, put the plug back on, and as soon as you turn your car on and that little device gets power, it'll automatically push the button or activate the button.
Maybe I need to look at that.
There you go.
So
I don't find that annoying. The van I had that. It gives you a slight hesitation whenever it turns off and turns back on. But
I find it horribly annoying.
Yeah,
especially if you're ever in a situation where you need to take off quick.
Right. There is a slight set.
Yeah.
Less than a second.
Hold on. I have to start the engine first, and then we can go.
My biggest fear is if there's a microsecond of failure and I'm needing to accelerate quickly.
Yeah. Right.
And all of a sudden it doesn't accelerate, and then I get T-boned.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's my.
Never more have I been aware of what you're talking about, except for whenever I'm in my convertible at a stoplight and I'm stopping and I don't realize all the cars are off. But then whenever we start accelerating, everybody's cars starting up, and what in the world is that?
I just crack my window so I can hear everything, and I take a little nap at the stoplight, and all the just wakes me up.
Wakes you back up. That's right. Oh well, okay. So
that was your Christmas then. Shooting shotguns and riding in Teslas.
Man, not only was it my Christmas, but we had an Olympic level, pro level coach take us around to the shooting clays. So we shot shooting clays, as in you get into a golf cart and you ride around to the different stations, and he shoots it off and you shoot them. And he's coached world champions. He's coached 4 or 5 Olympians, and he's 69, 70 years old. He's still doing it. And he started shooting when he was 14 years old, and he holds several records of shooting clays at a certain period of time, shooting the most clays at a certain period of time. He doesn't even know if he still holds the record or not.
Yeah.
He held a record a certain amount, but he hasn't been keeping up.
See, I need to do that more because the one or two times I've gone to shoot clays, I found that I can hit them very consistently if I let them land first.
You know what? That's the easiest way to get them to shoot. Sometimes you don't have to shoot them; they break.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that or not.
Exactly, yeah.
So I was shooting with Mark, my brother-in-law, and I call him my other brother-in-law, my niece's husband. And, we're all shooting and having a good time. But Mark hired this guy to go around with us for like 3 or 4 hours, whatever. And Mark was trying to want him to have a good time so he'll come back, you know what I mean?
Right.
So Mark invited him to shoot a little bit. And as soon as he got up in the stand and he mounted the gun, I looked at him and went, "That's what you're supposed to look like. Mm-hmm. That's what you're supposed to look like." I can try to mimic it all day, but he looked like the silhouette on a sticker that is advertising sporting clays.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? He looked perfect. It
He's
was
the Sporting
just
Clay logo.
Yep, he just looked perfect. I thought, why can't we do? You know what I mean?
Right.
What's so hard about that?
Well, your Christmas break sounds way better than mine was.
Oh,
We
it
were
was a
sick
lot of
the
time.
entire time.
Were you?
Yeah, you can still kind of feel it.
Yeah.
Hear it in my voice a little bit. I mean, I'm all fine now, but usually the cough and the voice thing lasts for a couple weeks afterwards. But yeah, we flew up and our plane on the way up was delayed, and all this stuff. We ended up. Getting to my in-laws' house about 3 a.m, and then my daughter caught something on the way up, and then I caught it the next day, and then my wife caught it
While
the day
you
after.
were up there. Oh,
yeah, while we were up there. And then my
horrible.
brother-in-law caught it the day. It like moves through us like the angel of death.
Well, being sick away from home, there's very few things worse.
It was, and it went my daughter, then me, then my wife, my brother-in-law, then my father-in-law. My mother-in-law never got it, but father-in-law did, and so, and it was like this 48, 2 to 3 day thing where you're just have no energy, no appetite, don't want to move, anything like that.
Oh my gosh.
And so, about the time we were all, for the most part, through it, it was time to leave. And so we spent a week literally up there,
Oh my gosh.
we didn't, I didn't go to any of the family events,
Oh, no,
neither
man.
my daughter, and Christmas Day itself, we were just like barely conscious. People are just like putting a box of on our laps. We just kind of wake up and unwrap it. Oh, this is awesome! Thank you very much. And so about the time we were done with that, it was time to come back. And coming back was even a horrible experience because we were flying into Baltimore, and we had a quick layover. We were getting another plane to fly to New Orleans to then drive 3 hours to Pensacola because that was the cheapest flights. Well, that first flight got delayed, and we missed the flight from Baltimore, so we ended up having to a 10-hour layover in Baltimore overnight, and so we're just in there, hard plastic seats, for 10 hours.
Horrible.
It was horrible, and barely any sleep. Got on the plane, slept the entire plane ride to New Orleans, and then we had a 3-hour drive back. And so, about the time we got to the house, all of us just kind of we didn't even unpack.
Yeah.
We just hit the couch and we're just done. And like the next, that was New Year's Eve is when we got home. And so New Year's, we all slept, took showers, reset or whatever. And I was just kind of done. I actually came here on New Year's to the office, and just it was quiet. There was no nobody around, nothing like that. I just kind of sat here and just didn't do a single thing for a little while. Just I'm just going to rest. I'm just going to relax and enjoy the ability to not have to move for a
You
little bit.
literally rebooted is what you did.
Yeah, I
That's
rebooted.
exactly what you
Yeah.
did. We need
and my
that
wife
now,
did the
right?
same thing at home. You know, because she was supposed to like go into work the next day, and she didn't do that. She's just like, nope.
Yeah, right.
And my daughter slept in and everything. So like all three of us, just in our own little spaces, we just like rebooted.
Right.
And yeah, we needed that. It was like, you know, it's fun being up with family and all that stuff, but being sick the whole time didn't make it very fun at all.
No, not
it
at
was just
all.
like, you know, as soon as we got home, we just needed a vacation.
Man, oh man.
Pretty much everybody I know for Christmas and stuff was sick. That was kind
Yeah.
of the big thing. My son come up, he didn't get to visit because he got sick. Everybody, we were going to go out and do some things, and everybody supposed to go with us got sick. So
Yep.
it was like this was the Christmas of sickness.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel fortunate I didn't get that way. That's sorry you guys had to go through that.
That's
It's
all
no
right.
fun.
Yeah.
Pay $3,000 to get sick and be
Pretty
away
much,
from your
yeah.
home.
That's about what it costs to travel up there and back and rent the car and
Man, oh man.
all that stuff. You know, because one of the plans was I was going to go and do some more like, you know, genealogical research and
right.
stuff.
Uh-huh.
I didn't get a chance to do any of that.
Didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Well, we're all back again.
Yep.
We're here, episode 101. Hey, before I talk about music, I did a little bit of research on what it takes to. I was interested in how many podcasts have made it to 100, right? 'Cause that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
It takes some consistency, right? It takes some
Yeah.
dedication.
And
And
this is like the
consistency.
third time we've made it to 100.
It really is. And this iteration is
Right.
100. Overall, 253, something like that. I don't.
Right.
We don't know.
We'll have to figure that out.
Yeah. But I wanted to find out how many podcasts have made 200. And I got a couple of statistics here. It's very rare for a podcast series to reach 100 episodes. Only a small single-digit percentage ever do. So, depending on what poll you look at, it's right around 4.8 to 6% of podcasts reach it to 100. And you know how many? I didn't even ask how many podcasts there were, but that's not a lot of podcasts.
Right.
That's a very few amount of podcasts. And there's three things that I was able to find that podcasts that make it to 100 have in common. We're doing two of them, and we've just before air we talked about starting to do the third one, and I'm excited about that.
Right.
Whatever we've done, we've been successful in that we've made it to 100, and we're consistent. We have a place to come. We have a person that's willing to do the editing.
Yeah.
And you and I continue to have the desire to do this, right? One is being consistent. Meaning a consistent release date.
Yeah.
We release, Chris, every Monday at 9 a.m.
Monday 9 a.m.
Monday, 9 a.m. And that's just something that happens. Chris has created that.
Yeah.
We don't have to think about it. It happens.
Right.
So that's him doing his quote job, us doing our quote job, and it just happens as part of the workflow.
Yeah.
That consistency is one of the main things that podcasts that make it to 100 have in common. Second one is recording constantly and at the same time every week. And if we don't, I'm adding this. And if you don't make that, then you have a backup. So
Right.
we have a backup, and after the second backup fails, we pretty much say, let's just wait till next week.
Yeah.
That's worked for us, you know, for the last 3 years. It's worked
Right.
for us. So that's what we do. We record on Thursday morning at 8:30. If that doesn't work, we come in at 8:30 on Saturday.
Yeah.
That has worked so far. Y'all agree?
Yeah.
It's worked great
Absolutely.
so far. Very few times in this last year have we not recorded. Maybe once or twice. That's a pretty good
Over the
percentage.
Thanksgiving kind of holiday, and then over the Christmas and New Year's, we weren't. There was somebody going to be here.
Yeah.
We didn't record.
And there was one where we did record. We actually recorded twice.
Right.
But we had some equipment failures.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're not going to record a third time.
Right. But having a backup to your regular, I think that has helped because, I mean, look at we know people that are doing podcasts in our regular network of people. They've got momentum, and they stop all of a sudden.
Right.
And they miss 1 week, Then they miss 2 weeks. Before you know it, they're not recording at
Yeah.
all. Two or three of the big ones that we knew that seemed to have a lot of momentum are no longer. They haven't recorded in years,
Right.
At least months, several months. Some of them even a year.
Yeah.
And it's not like they said we're going to stop recording. They got out of the habit of doing it.
Yeah.
It's a it's a habit
Yeah.
and it's a job. If you want to make something out of YouTube or a podcast, you have to be consistent with it.
Yep. No
It's,
doubt.
it's a job. You can't look at it as a hobby. You have to look at it as a job.
And I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of us for doing that because we don't. I've never thought of how we can monetize this.
Yeah.
It's crossed our minds before, but it's never been a motivating factor.
Right. I mean,
Never has.
we kind of come about it with a different mindset.
Yeah.
Is, there's stuff we like to talk about, stuff that we think is important to talk about, and we're not really doing it for the monetization purpose.
Right.
When we first started, it was to connect to our small group at church during the COVID era, and then as it grew, it became a way to connect to the rest of the church, and then as it grew from there, it became, well, this is sort of bigger in its scope than just that, and so we've just kind of followed where it's gone.
Yeah, that's right. And we've been willing to change, right? We haven't been stringent with, I guess not the framework, but like who we're reaching out to.
Right.
I think everything that we've done, considering everything you just said, we've done 100%, and we found out that maybe that's not working right now, and we pivoted. And that's just a success in business is being able to pivot. People pivoting with AI these days. How is a photographer going to continue to make money whenever 99% of the advertisements we see are AI?
Yeah.
And all the websites are AI. We've got to pivot somehow to assimilate into that, right?
Right.
So that's what we're doing. I think the bottom line is we enjoy it.
Yeah.
I know y'all enjoy seeing me. So I mean,
Well,
I know
it's kind of funny because we mentioned this before. We usually end up either before or after or both. We're usually just sitting here chatting
Yep.
for like an hour,
Right,
And then
right.
we were like, oh, we should probably record.
Yep.
Then when we're done, we usually sit there and chat for another 30 minutes to an hour.
Well, Chris talks and we listen. I mean, that's
yeah.
Hey, somebody's got to talk to you. Make keep y'all in line.
no, it's very true. And we wouldn't have that camaraderie. Let's face it, we wouldn't.
Yeah.
If we didn't do this podcast, we would never take it amongst ourselves to say, hey, let's all three go to the coffee shop and sit down. We do that periodically, but we wouldn't do it as much as we do now.
Right.
So that's as much as of enjoyment, the before and after, which we've talked about recording that and making that. I don't know if we should do that or not, but anyway.
I don't
We have
think
to
there's
tone some stuff down.
Considering things I've said before this podcast, I don't think we need to record. So that's 1 in 20 podcasts, 4 to 6%, 1 in 20 podcasts.
Right.
Make it to 100. And I don't have any plans on saying, guys, I'm tired of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I might have plans on changing a format or changing what I talk about or something like that. But Josh, your Bible study pretty much is my Bible study, and I'm not interested in getting rid of that. So anyway, that's kind of the research I did. Didn't have anything to do with content. That was interesting to me. It didn't have anything to do with content. I'm sure I could research and find out what type of content is more likely to be successful, but that's not going to change our behavior. You
Right.
know what I mean? That's not what we're about. We're not doing it for the podcast's sake, for having a podcast. We're doing a podcast to get across the Word of God and the crap that I do. The music, I don't know what I do, but anyway, speaking of the crap that I do, that's going to be the new segment, Chris. If you put that in the notes, crap that Destry does.
I'm already having to figure up the graphic here. That's easy graphic.
This asks ChatGPT to drop the graphic. Crap Destry does. I'm just afraid to say what it would look like. Anyway, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 CDs here, and I like that it's a mixture. sat downstairs before I came up here and picked out the CDs that I've been listening to since we met last time, and it's consistent with what I've always said is my musical taste. Here's one: Justin Timberlake, the 2020 Experience. And I don't remember if I've said it or on this podcast or not, but I like Justin Timberlake. I like what I know about him through media, through the music that I've seen. Man, this boy can dance, man. I like watching him dance, and I'm not a big dance fan.
Right.
But I just like, to me, he is cool. If I can just say that. He, to me, is like a modern day Jimmy Dean. Not Jimmy Dean.
That's the
James
sausage
Dean.
guy.
Jimmy Dean is the sausage guy. James Dean.
One of my favorite, by the way.
He's like a modern James Dean to me. He just seems to be a really cool guy, just from what I know. And my understanding is that at home where he lives, people, yeah, there's a plane in the background.
Yeah, that's a huge plane.
Big
Wow,
plane.
no
For
kidding.
us to hear it in here with the sound, it's a big plane.
Planes, just for our listeners, planes fly over. The airport's really close to here.
Yeah.
Planes fly over this thing all the time.
Yeah.
All the time, all day. You don't
hear that,
You don't hear
For
that.
me to hear
very
that,
much.
I'm like,
Something is really large and really low
And really low.
for us to hear what we just
Hey,
heard.
Thursday, Blue Angels
Yeah.
aren't really doing anything, are they? Today?
no, they're
I don't
not.
think so.
They're not back
That's
in.
not a Blue Angel
No.
sound, though.
Anyway, interesting. Boston. This is, I think, the second Boston album, and there's only 8 songs, but it has some really, really good music. Boston is a band that there was a couple of people in this band that really hated each other, man. It's more common than I'd like to say, like Fleetwood Mac and all that. But Boston, Tom Schultz, and I think another guy in there, they just could not stand each other, from what I could tell. But the first and the second album were so successful. It was a business thing that they had to come back together and create these songs, being in a room, with a long time with people you don't like. Oh my gosh, I had to be.
Me, even not being as big a musical person as you, I recognize that album cover from
Yeah.
Boston. That's a very
The
big time one.
first one and second one are very similar.
Yeah.
So it's the same color palette, and they're slightly different. I'll bring in the first one sometime
Okay.
and compare them. But even me knowing the difference, I have to look at them side by side to be able to tell. But everybody knows what Boston sounds like with Tom Schultz and that high pitch, good rock and roll. I have discovered an Elton John CD that perhaps is my favorite Elton John CD. I love finding one in a thrift store or an antique store and putting it in, never having heard it, and really liking it. And this is what happened to the Tumbleweed Connection Elton John. I don't remember the year. I think I was probably
Go to your
between-
cover art inside.
It's probably in the 70s. I'm sure of it because that's just the way that my mind works. And again, I love what Elton John and the producers do. All the words, all the music, everything in here. Art. Look at that art, would you? Can you see that art?
Oh, yeah.
An old revolver. I like that. Let's see. 19. Well, I don't even see.
Tumbleweed Connection.
Well, it says 1995. Yeah, Tumbleweed Connection.
Well, this says here it's a studio album by Elton John, 1970.
Excellent. 1970.
Ballad of a Well-Known Gun, Come Down in Time.
Yes.
Yeah.
1970.
That might be a reproduction. I mean,
Must
like,
be.
yeah.
Must be a reproduction. But
I haven't heard a lot of these songs.
man, I'm telling you, it's produced really good. What I mean is the sound is good. All of Elton John's productions were really, really good. Better than most in the day. So that's a really good one. More of a rock than you think of Elton John. Ballads, yes, but still more kind of rocky country. I'm sensing a phase in my musical desire to go grunge.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Soundgarden. I used to love this CD. I listened to this CD so much back when it first came out. See if you can research when Soundgarden Super Unknown came out.
Okay.
I listened to this thing so much, I really can't listen to it anymore. I'm just worn out on it. But
1994.
1994, right in the middle of the grunge era. So Soundgarden, people like Soundgarden, Temple of the Dog, and a couple of other ones. There's something about that grunge music. Man, many of these guys have died because of drug overdoses and things like that in a very young age. So it was Seattle, the Seattle area, and I think some really bad drugs were coming around. That I don't think it was meth yet. I think it was cocaine and a mixture of things. But people were found dead in their cars. You know what I mean? Just at the top of their, they put 2 albums out just on the top of things, and they're found dead in their car, as an overdose. What a shame. I mean, what an absolute shame that they had to go through that, and the families had to go through that. But I'm going to be listening to some more grunge music. I call it grunge music, from Soundgarden and Temple of the Dog and other things. Here's one that I love to listen to and just sing when I can, because it's a mixture of rock and rap. And if you'd have said, Destry, you're going to be a rap fan, you'd have said that 15 years ago, I would have called you a liar. And I'm not a rap fan. However, I can listen to Kid Rock, the way he does his rap and his dang da dang 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 da diggy diggy. He does that one.
Yeah,
it's just and with a real hard rock guitar in the background, and he says stupid things and makes stupid rhymes. And I don't understand this album very much, because there's many times where it will bleep out, but yet you can hear him say the F word and other words, and those aren't bleeped out. So what in the world did he say that got bleeped out? I don't know what other word he could say that, but he would. This is a good one. My Name is Kid Rock is on this one, anyway.
Which is weird, because his name is really Robert James Ritchie.
Robert James Ritchie.
Yeah.
I think Kid Rock goes better. One of the reasons I like him, he reminds me of a lot of people I grew up with. Mm-hmm. He really does. Long, stringy hair, rock and roll, you know what I mean? Guitar playing, singer. He just reminds me. And I've seen some documentaries about him. He likes riding motorcycles across the country with some other celebrities. And anyway, he's a spiritual guy. I don't know if he's a Christ lover or Christ follower, but he's a spiritual guy. I know that, and I think he's changed to present day from where he was before.
He's. It seems like, at least on the political side, he's gotten more conservative.
I think you're right. I
don't think that translates to, and here again, I don't know his heart, but I don't think that's translated deep enough to become like a spiritual transformation. Like he's now a born again Christian or anything, but he holds to some conservative values at least.
I'll add to that by saying he talks a lot about God and his. Mm-hmm. God or spirit, you know what I mean? He mentions that a great deal, and being saved and going to church and things like that. He mentions a lot, so I know it's in his psyche somewhere. You know what I mean? He grew up with it or whatever. But I'm with you. I don't know what his heart is. So this last one is Hootie and the Blowfish.
Darius Rucker.
Yep, Darius Rucker or Hootie, whichever one you want to. I realized that I heard a song or something of Hootie and the Blowfish, and I thought, man, I have totally forgotten about them. I used to love this album. Hootie and the Blowfish, Cracked Rear View. When this came out, this is one of those stories that they grew up pretty much in Columbia, South Carolina, and whenever this came out, you call it an overnight success. They wouldn't call it that because they were playing bars and everything. But this blew them up to superstar status. Almost every song on this CD, I don't know if it went to number 1, but almost every song charted.
Yeah.
And it was amazing how popular these guys got just from this CD. And Darius Rutger later went on to a solo career. They never really broke up, to my knowledge. They just all kind of did different things because they're all really tight friends, high school friends, and all this. But he went on to be more of a country artist, and he's still one of the superstars of country music. One of the few and early African American country music superstars. But anyway, I've been listening to that a little bit too. And I had listened to this so much in high school and post high school that I can't listen to it a lot because I just go, man, I'm just tired. You know what I mean? You know? But it still brings that soothing kind of a feeling, a nostalgic feeling back to where I want to go sometimes. And the car that I have, the 2011, it kind of feels right. You know what I mean? Driving down the road with something. When did this come out? Can you see when Hootie and the Blowfish came?
No, I didn't see when that one came out. But my question for you is, and I always like to go back to this, you listen to music that reflects your mood.
Yes.
And you said that you're finding yourself getting into grunge.
The grungy. I'm feeling grungy, baby.
So, yeah,
Grungy,
like,
baby.
so what do you think has been going on in your life lately that's been making you not necessarily crave, but lean more towards the grunge?
Well, remember I said I think I feel it coming on, right? It has something to do with scrolling through my feeds, my Facebook feeds, and all my other social media, and remembering a song, clicking on it, saying I like it, and it continuing to feed me that type of song. So I'm remembering. So I think I'm probably guilty at being,
So that the social media algorithm is influencing your mood.
It's leading my mood. That's right. That's right.
Towards music.
Yep.
Okay.
And that I haven't talked about it very much.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it wasn't a huge part of my life, but it was a very significant part of my life with my buddies, Steve, one of them, Steve,
Right.
that's no longer here anymore, and with Kent, who's no longer here anymore. So it drew an interest in me to delve back into that. Now, I remember listening to this in my Talon TSI all-wheel drive, freaking awesome car.
Yeah.
All-wheel drive, fast as all get out, in a rainstorm with Steve in the passenger seat and us driving in Florida, listening to that, just loving it. You know what I mean? It brings me back to that moment, that very moment. So I think the algorithm is pointing me that way, and then I'm feeling that nostalgia, and I'm going, okay, well let's delve into it and see what happens.
So there's something about your involvement in social media or whatever that the algorithm is picking up on.
Oh, most
and
definitely.
suggesting that to you. So it's like this feedback loop.
It's a feedback loop, and the videos that I'm seeing are ones I've never seen before of the people, Chris Cornell and all them. That's really nice, really good quality videos that I've never delved into.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to do that. You know what I mean, for the podcast and for my interest. So it's it's strange the way, it's not really strange, but it's obvious whenever you start talking about what has influenced you. And I know good and well that's what it is. It's the scrolling through.
That's kind of a new revelation, at least in terms of our conversation here, is because we've never really haven't really dived into what is causing your mood to change, and therefore the music you listen to.
Yeah.
So, like, at least a component of that is social media changes your mood. That's I think that's an interesting realization, because like we've talked about this before. Of there's some inherent. I don't want to say risks or dangers, although I guess that's true to a large degree. But there's like this originating cause a lot of times that comes about from our involvement in the social media universe. And I've said a lot of times that as a human as a human race, I don't think we were quite prepared for the level of exposure to just everybody else's the inner workings of everybody else's mind that we get from social media, but to see not just how our access to that changes our mindset, but the reflection that comes back, through the algorithm. Like, you've been involved in this, then mathematically there's a high probability that you're probably going to be interested in this over here.
Right.
And it's right a lot of times.
Yeah.
And so that ends up where, that component used to not exist, and we were just like pursuing interests, but not actively having new interests presented to us that might be compatible with our current interests. And so, like, it seems like a lot of us, myself included, because I find myself, being subjected to this, but like my interests will change, not because I've necessarily found something that I'm interested in, but it's been presented to me.
It found you.
Yeah, it found me now, because there's an active algorithm who's really, its goal isn't to find something that interests me. Its goal is to find something that creates more engagement, because more engagement means more ad revenue, and more ad revenue means, all this stuff. So, like, a lot of our personalities are being shaped by the pursuit of monetary gain of these businesses. And I don't know how I feel about that.
One of the positives, I think, is that being introduced to new music, to me anyway, by going down that algorithm, by clicking on Soundgarden videos, other grunge music is being sent to me, and I'm finding it very enjoyable. Yeah, I am. So there's
what's kind of scary about that, and we'll get into this at some point in the upcoming weeks with one of the guests that we want to have on the podcast. But now that there's the ability for music to be created by artificial intelligence, it's like there's no there's no hindrance to any style or mixture of styles of music to be created pretty much in an instant. So think about that from an algorithm perspective. Like, there's something about your involvement and my involvement in social media that that equates to a particular genre of music that's different than anyone else's interest in their genre of music. It's almost like there's genres like rap and hip hop and pop and grunge and all this stuff, but then every single person aligns with a different part of this spectrum than anyone else. So now there's going to be the potential for like micro genres. Like, this is the precise cross section of all these different styles that is statistically geared to tickle your brain or my brain or whatever. And so, but there's not going to be a human behind it. It's all going to be algorithm driven. And so, yeah, like at some point, especially for those of us,
dude, you're freaking me out, man.
Well, especially for those of us who listen to music based on our moods, but our moods are being influenced by an algorithm. Yeah, it's almost like we're being groomed by an algorithm to act a certain way and to respond a certain way.
That's the scary part of it. Yeah, that's the scary part of it. We can have the same conversation about a work of art on the wall.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
If you done the correct prompts to an AI software to create whatever, right? And somebody comes in that doesn't know that was created by AI, are they going to enjoy that as much as you do? Because is that art? Is that what is it? And what does it mean?
When your entire life becomes an active AI prompt that is now automatically generating content to feed back into you. At what point do we become products of just prompts?
I know.
Like, we become ChatGPT.
Well, like I say, right now, like at the house, I'm parrot sitting my son's parrot.
Man,
So
you've
we
been
don't.
doing that. I think that's your parrot now,
He's
buddy.
probably going to be my bird because he's
He's pretty much your bird, buddy.
he's pretty much adopted me as
Yep.
But one of the things is we play music for him, so we'll put some kind of easy listening on or whatever, something, or some kind of soft jazz or something. So he's not sitting in a bear house all day
Okay.
with no noise.
Yeah, yeah.
Like this morning, I put on soft music with bird sounds.
Yeah, nice.
So he can hear
Yeah,
birds chirping and
sure.
things like that. But now every time I pull up my YouTube, I'm getting all these live
funny.
this music, that
Yeah,
music,
right,
lo-fi
right.
this, lo-fi, and so I have to go in and kind of. I'm probably actually going to create another channel.
That's a
His
good
name is
idea.
Lou.
Do a Lou channel,
The
man.
Lou channel,
Yeah.
so I can and just pull it up and go click. That's going to be his channel.
That's beautiful. Absolutely.
And it will allow him to, have his own little section of music.
What I'd like to see you do, Chris, is to have a Google or something in there that you can teach Lou how to turn on the YouTube channel. You know this can be done. Have Lou just change the channel. Have Lou totally manipulate that YouTube channel and bring up what he wants to bring up. You know it can happen.
Alexa, play.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He talks. He's not the greatest talker, but he does talk. But he's
I bet he can learn it.
he could he's. But he'll sit there and he'll go. I'll play the bird sounds, and the head will pop up, and he'll go. Okay, I'm
Well, Josh in the other room plays a projector of cat desired videos for the two cats you have living here now. You're fostering with your office roommate.
Yeah.
And you said yourself they go in there. They may get tired of it, but they engage with it, right?
Yeah, they go and chase the stuff on the walls and
That's
all
so
that kind
cool.
of stuff. Yeah, and like my wife's cat, our cat at
Right.
home, one of our two cats, like it's addicted to YouTube. Like as soon as it sees us turn on the TV, and especially the sound that is associated with the YouTube app, it runs
No
to the
way.
TV and just sits there
Is
and watches
that
it.
right?
Yeah.
No matter what's on.
No matter what's on, but like if we don't turn on a cat video, it quickly loses interest. But like,
okay.
If we do turn on a cat video, it'll stay there
That
for
is
a
so
while,
cool.
and depending on what it is, it'll chase it around the screen and different
That's
things like that. And like in the
funny.
mornings, it knows before we leave for work. We usually turn on one of those things just for passive entertainment.
Sure.
The cat will literally sit in front of the TV and look at us like, "Are you
Gonna
going to turn it
turn-
on?" Like,
That's great.
it's time for my shows.
I
you know?
love it.
that's kind of what we've done. We've got the there's all types of music, but if you go the ones that you say, "Give me live music," we watched one video. It was like really nice, relaxing space kind of It's been playing for 7 years. It doesn't go off. It
Oh,
plays
okay.
7 years. And that the cool thing about that is, if you do live, you don't get that. Are you still watching?
Oh, is that right?
Because it will play for as long. Because when we went to South Florida, we had people come and taking care of him. But during the whole day and night, I put it on my tablet and put it to a Bluetooth speaker, and I had that music playing for him 24 hours a day. So there was music, noise. He wasn't sitting there. I spoil him to death. He's like a grandchild. He really is. He's
Sure.
so.
That's cool.
But it's just that's the key to. You can put in a show like this. Music is 3 hours and 12 minutes. That will actually cut off at about an hour, hour and a half if you don't change.
Yeah.
If you go live, it will not cut off. It will run for days if you wanted to.
Okay. Cool. Seems like all of our podcasts turn to AI after a while, doesn't it? I mean, the last several we've done. It's such a
Y'all
big
haven't
part of
realized
our
I'm not
lives.
on camera. I'm AI now.
I called Josh AI on his Facebook page. I think you were sitting in the airport or something. I don't remember what it was, but so I think this whole Josh Huber channel is all AI.
Yep.
Anyway,
It's all just going to
But remember what you were supposed to do when you saw him, though. You're supposed to punch him to see if your hand goes through him or not.
hey, Josh, we'll transition over to you, but I'm just going to show I'm not going to say what this is, so it won't be. I'm just going to show a Christmas present that I got.
Well, we just got demonetized.
Yeah, it's a Christmas present that my brother-in-law Mark gave me, and I want to say thank you to him. He needed to make more room in his safe, and I'm always there. I'm there for him 100%. If he needs to make room, I want to help him out. So I did.
You're there to help.
I'm there to help. And if any of you guys want to make room in your safes, also, I've got the experience and I know how to do that. So
See, over the Christmas holidays, my wife learned an extremely valuable lesson.
Which was what?
Well, she went to the nail salon, and I drove her.
I do your nails.
And she was getting her nails done. Well, right next to the nail store was a gun store.
I do your nails long time. What?
And I walked into the gun store.
Oh.
And then she walks in there and goes, uh-oh, he's holding one.
Yep.
Nail salon next to gun show.
And actually, the guys in the gun store, though,
right now?
they said, the guys in the gun store says, we need to make the nail salon go out of business. We need more room. That was their very words. I'm like,
that nail salon is the only reason you went there.
Yeah. Like, wait a minute, guys. This is, that's actually, got you money here today.
So did you walk out of there a little lighter in the wallet?
Slightly lighter in the wallet, but heavier on the hip.
Okay, cool. And heavier, meaning this was something that you have been wanting for a while.
You've
been talking about it.
I've been looking at a particular level of this pistol,
right,
for about 4 years, and now they just about 6-7 months ago they released the actually improved version. And so when I got my hands on the improved version, I'm says it's going home with me today.
Home
period.
With the kid, nice. I'm glad you got that. You waited a long time for it.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, Josh, I'm sorry you didn't have a good Christmas vacation, and I'm sorry that I went and shot shotguns and rode in a Tesla and came home with a Christmas present, which was an AR. I'm sorry about all of that stuff. But did you do any Bible study over there?
Yes, quite a bit. So one of my long-standing projects over the past several years has been tracking like genealogies in the Bible.
Right.
I'm obsessed with them. For, not just my own, but Bible genealogies as well. But also like putting all of that on a big timeline of world history.
And you're physically doing that.
Yes. Which is kind of funny because like as an engineer drawing blueprints for buildings and stuff like that, the CAD program that I use. That's what I'm using to do all this stuff in because like I can make it look the way I want. I can scale it the way I want. I can, do a bunch of cool things with it. So like I'm, all this research I'm doing and like correlating different events in the Bible with actual calendar dates and stuff like that. I'm doing in this computer design program that I also use to do, building schematics and stuff like that. So it's kind of there's multiple layers of nerdiness involved in this, but
that's right up your alley.
Right. But in our small group on Wednesday nights, I end up using these tools a lot of times in like either the introductory material to like set the context for a book that we're going to be going through, or as support material, like this event that happened, this was what was going on in other parts of the world at the same time that influenced it, or I'll bring up Google Earth and give us like an aerial view of like this is where this battle happened in the Old Testament, or this is where that monument that Joshua set up in Shechem is still located, and different things like that. And so last night in the small group of church, it was the first night that small groups met this year. And usually what we do is, on that first night, I forget what it's called, like preview night or presentation night or whatever.
It's preview.
Yeah, in the front lobby of our church. We set up a bunch of tables, and all the different small groups, the leader from it or some representative from that small group goes and stands at that table for a little while so that people that are walking through and looking for a small group, you can talk to them. tell them what your group's about, all this stuff. And ours is kind of a very unique group in our church because we're the gun club group. So a lot of people just think there's a bunch of rednecks get around and talk about guns and hunting and all this kind of stuff. And
Not too far off the mark, but
yeah,
in a different way.
Yeah, but the unique thing about us is we do that, but that's like only half of what we do.
Yeah.
The other half is, more the goal of small groups in general is to get people with a common interest together, specifically to explore Scripture, to talk about God, to grow closer in your relationship with Him.
And Josh, let me interrupt you. And I said this last night in front of Kevin before you got there. Kevin's one of our students that's been around a long time. I will put your Bible study up against anybody's in that church. Chris, you with me? I'll put your Bible study up against anybody in that church. I really mean that, and you bring so much to that class, and we just don't thank you enough for that. But anyway.
Well, those are, I always appreciate those statements, but they're always a little awkward too, because it's like I always see areas where I need to improve them.
It's because you're a perfectionist. You're a type A.
Yeah,
in a good way.
Anyway. But like from my point of view, it's like this is stuff that interests me.
Yeah,
and I'm studying it anyway, and I have this opportunity to like share the results of my research and get other people's input and stuff like that too. Like last night, as we were talking, different people are asking questions and giving input into what they've looked at in these things. Okay. And we started this series last night, which I'm going to talk about a little bit here in just a minute. The book of Jude in the New Testament. It's just this little bitty single chapter book that that gets overlooked a lot in the New Testament because it's so small. But it's really become probably my favorite book in the New Testament because even though it's small, I think it's only 21 verses, but every single verse of it is packed with something, an allusion to something in the Old Testament, and but yet the central theme of Jude is looking into our future, into a time. It's like if Acts is called the Acts of the Apostles, Jude would be the Acts of the Apostates. If Acts was the history of the early church, Jude is more like this is what's happening during the end of the church age. The apostasy. So it's kind of like when we look at the world around us, it seems like we're in this period of time that Jude is talking about, and even when Jude starts, here in Jude 1, he says, a servant of Jesus Christ, a brother of James, to them that are sanctified by God the Father, preserved in Jesus Christ, and called, mercy unto you and peace and love be multiplied. And right there's some unique things about Jude that's different than a lot of the other books in the New Testament. For one thing, Jude is like a half brother of Jesus.
Okay.
So, but at the same time, like he wasn't named among the disciples or anything like that, because there's a lot of reason to believe that during the beginning of his life he wasn't a believer, even though he was half brother of Jesus. That came later on in life. But when he's writing this, he doesn't open up saying Jude, the brother of Jesus Christ, like that. If you're going to be writing to people in the church, you'd think like this is your key to getting everyone's attention right off the bat.
Give your resume up front, like a lot of the books do, right?
Right, and he doesn't do that. Instead, he says, "I'm a servant of Jesus Christ," and that that concept there of being a servant of Jesus Christ here again points back to this relationship in the Old Testament where you could be. Their attitude towards servants in the Old Testament was one where you could submit yourself to a household for the purpose of like paying off a debt or anything like that. But there came a certain time where all servants, all slaves, whatever you call them, would be set free. their debts would be forgiven, they'd be set free, all this stuff. And you had this opportunity at that point to either go off and start your own family or whatever, or you could choose to stay in service of that household.
Okay.
And so there was an encouragement there to treat servants with respect and treat them in a way that wasn't taking advantage of them or whatever, because it was considered an honor for both parties. One, for this person to have the opportunity to leave but choose to stay. It spoke very highly of that master of that house when that happened. And so that's the idea that's being conveyed here, is Jude, a servant of Jesus Christ. Like, this is a choice. It's not, he's in bondage or anything like that. Yeah. It's a choice. Yeah. He says, the brother of James, which James, wrote, another half-brother of Jesus. He wrote the book of James in the New Testament. And even when you look at James and Jude in parallel with each other, one is like works as an evidence of your faith, and then the book of Jude is like looking at evil works as an evidence of apostasy and heresy. And in Jude, another thing he says, we're used to like the Pauline letters where he says, grace be unto you, all this stuff. Well, Jude, he starts it out with mercy be unto you, because what he's going to talk about over the course of the next several verses is something where, grace is that concept where we're giving something we don't deserve, like salvation. We don't deserve that. Mercy is we're not given something that we do deserve, judgment, things like that. And so since he's talking about apostasy coming into the church and us fighting against that and dealing with that within our own ranks, mercy is. It's interesting that Jude focuses on mercy being the primary greeting. Mercy unto you and peace, love be multiplied. Because in that state where judgment is deserved, mercy is there. Not getting what we do deserve. But he says, and this is where I'll end with it today, but verse 3, it says, I gave all diligence to write unto you of the common salvation. In other words, he was going to write a letter to fellow Christians, like an encouraging letter about the salvation that's common to all of them. Like Paul did this a couple times where he would, it was mostly good news. He would talk about salvation, and he would give them some theological guidance and different questions that had come up in the church like that. There were also some letters where it was a lot of like excoriating and all this kind of stuff, correcting. Well, Jude, he says, I was going to do that. However, it says, it is needful for me to write unto you and exhort you that ye should earnestly contend for the faith which was once delivered unto the saints. For there are certain men crept in unawares, who were before of old ordained to this condemnation, ungodly men, turning the grace of our God into lasciviousness and denying the only Lord God and our Lord Jesus Christ. So he said, I was about to write about this, but then I was redirected because there's a problem. There's men creeping into the church who are changing the grace of our God into lasciviousness. There's this, and we'll talk about what that means later on. But basically, in this time of especially in the last days of the church, it's going to be characterized by these false doctrines coming in and changing what the true gospel of Christ is about. And he exhorts us to contend for the faith. And then throughout the book of Jude, he's going to give us key references from Scripture, going all the way back to the Garden of Eden, the early days of Israel, and all this stuff, of characteristics of where this same sentiment has existed in the past, what God's attitude was for it, and what our tools for battling against it are going to be. So that's what I kind of want to go over over the next several episodes of the podcast, is going through the book of Jude, because, like I said, I think it's one of those books that are really overlooked today. For a number of reasons.
Okay. All right. We'll look forward to that.
Yeah.
Very good. Josh, anything you want to close with?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad to be back to normal workflow. It occurred to me, many times. Chris, you want to say something? It looks like you're bound to say what's going on.
You said normal in the context of all three of us.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
typical.
Thank
Typical better. Being on vacation, no matter where you are, it's still not like being home. You know what I mean? It's
I
just
stayed home through the whole thing. I didn't go
Nice.
anywhere.
Great.
But the thing about it was, I wasn't doing this. And that was 2 very long, very weird weeks for me because I had my alarms they still went off on Thursday mornings going, I need to be at the studio.
Right. Same.
And it's like, okay, wait a minute.
Right.
I don't need to be there because they're not there.
Well, it speaks to what we were talking about before, how we enjoy doing it, and that's why we have the success that we have. And I'm glad that we're back. But how can I say this and sound the way I want to sound? Where Don and I go for vacation in Alpharetta is better than any 5-star place that we've ever been. You understand? It's just really nice. It's a very nice place, and everything's new and coordinated and clean. Oh, it's just unbelievable. Hope, my sister-in-law, does such a great job putting her house together. It's just so beautiful, but it's not home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could take my house and put it in their living room. And it's not just the size, it's just the quality of everything. And
Right.
they've started to get into art, and he's bought art. They've both bought art, and it's just nice. It's just so beautiful. The palettes are so beautiful. But I was ready to come home.
Yeah.
To sit in my little broken down shack of a house that's a fixer-upper.
Right.
You know what I mean? And sit there and watch my TV and hang out with my cat.
Yeah.
And
there's something about just the familiarity of home, even with all of its flaws. That's comforting.
It's very comforting. I was glad to be there because the people I adore. But home is home. I mean,
Yeah.
and I hope that you all have that as well. I think that you do. You walk in, you have a place where you can sit down and go, yep, this is what I'm going to do for the next hour or 2 or 3 hours or 5 hours, whatever you choose to do. But it's your place.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I appreciate that
If
so
for any other
much.
reason, it's nice to be able to go into my own fridge and know the leftovers that I'm allowed to eat.
That's right. Don't have to get permission to
Right.
get this, So anyway, I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad that we went, and we'll continue to do that. But guys, I appreciate y'all very much, and let's make it to another 100, and we'll meet next week.
All righty.
Do the same thing. Donna, I love you. Thanks for being here, everybody, for listening. And hey, we're going to make an effort to start engaging with everybody. I think all three of us are going to start looking at the comments and engaging, and we want y'all to do that as well. That's one thing that we're going to commit to doing in 2026. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. See y'all later. Bye.